What's happening, y'all? You didn't know I was coming in today, or maybe you did. Child, I wrestled with myself last night and was like, am I really going to do a Top of the Blogs extra over this bullshit that came out yesterday? Y'all, it's my day off from YouTube. So I really was planning on enjoying this day and trying to correct the color on this damn wig today after I get, when I get my break from work. But instead, I'm here with you guys to discuss the conversation that Robyn and Giselle had on their podcast, Reasonably Shady. Okay, now I don't listen to that podcast. I never have, but we do know that they have it, and I'm assuming that it's, reasonably popular, considering these are, the housewives from the Real Housewives of Potomac show, and I'm just here because you guys, so we have been discussing this season, or at least I have, the fakeness of this season. I couldn't quite put my finger exactly on why it felt so fake, but it just felt fake, okay? It felt like the ladies were putting on. It felt like there was a lot of acting. It felt like, pretty much like they were lying to us. And, while we couldn't, I couldn't really say specifically, it was clear that this season has had those kind of issues. And then we come to the conversation that they had. So in case you don't know, apparently the story that came out about Juan cheating on Robyn is true. Remember, I talked about that in Top of the Blogs, and we said how shit wasn't right, that the mistress decided to come out and say all this and do all of that, okay? But apparently that story ended up being true. And also, I guess the fact that Karen had blasted the story on, the last couple of episodes ago to Robyn, and Robyn denied it. Well, now we find out that the story actually is true. And I'm listening to her, she said that this happened during the pandemic, which now makes sense. That, remember that season when Robyn was saying that, the pandemic has made her very depressed and she couldn't get out of bed, and, she wasn't really paying attention to the kids, and, Juan was upset with her for not being in. Now all of that starts to make sense. Okay, it wasn't necessarily the pandemic, or maybe that pandemic, on top of the fact that Juan was out there cheating, is probably more of the reason why she was depressed. She never told us that. But, now in hindsight, we understand why she felt that way. But for her to say, she found out about the girl had DM'd people, DM'd her, DM'd Giselle apparently, and was threatening, at least last season, not this season that we're currently in, but at least last season, she threatened to expose it. And Robyn and Giselle both knew about this story, and they sat on it. And not only did they sit on the story, but then they decided to come up with something else to deflect, I guess, from the Robyn situation with Juan. And now we've got this Chris Bassett, Candace Dillard story, which we've all said was bullshit. Many of you guys have been upset with me in my comments saying, well, she did feel uncomfortable, and, you don't know what happened in the hallway, and, you did. And I was just like, I just knowing Giselle's personality, knowing Chris Bassett's personality, it never felt like to me that Giselle was going to be put in that position that she felt uncomfortable. Okay. But that's what she has been saying, maintaining this whole season. I mean, and for them to lie about the Chris Bassett story just to, like I said, deflect from really what was going on was the fact that Robyn was dealing with the Juan cheating with this girl. Okay. She said that they dealt with it. And to me, it still seems like either she's lying to herself or lying to us when she says, oh, Juan didn't, he just paid for the hotel. He didn't stay there, whatever. I was just like, really, Robyn? Really? What do we watch a reality show for? If you are going to get onto the show and not show your reality, yes, I know that there's times that the producers are probably leading the story in a certain direction, but when something as huge as this would come up, how do you just hide that and then do something totally different, you know? And then she said, well, that's probably why the wedding didn't happen. But then you turn around and still got married afterwards. I'm not saying that she shouldn't marry Juan. People have cheating issues in their relationships. They deal with it the best way that they can. It's not for me to say that a person should stay or leave a person. But what I'm saying is, if you're on a reality show, then you're supposed to show what your reality is. Okay? And Robyn's reality was that Juan was messing around, and we never got that. So then she decides to do it on her podcast, okay, for her audience on podcast, and then goes on to direct everybody to go to her Patreon, which is a paid subscription. I'm sorry, you guys, I just had some eggs and I feel like it's like coming out of my mouth, but she directed everybody to go on to, y'all see that there? She decided to tell everybody to go to her Patreon, her paid subscription service, so that she would give even more tea. What the fuck we watching Real Housewives of Potomac for if you just gonna be having everything on your Patreon? No, we not gonna go to the Patreon because somebody gonna lift it off of Patreon and let us know anyway, okay? But to me, if you're on a reality show and you aren't giving your true reality on the show, but then you turn around and decide to give it on your podcast or your Patreon, then you really probably shouldn't be on the show. Okay? You just really shouldn't be on the show if that's what you're doing, because reality TV already has a blemish. People already say that it's fake. Okay? But for you to really confirm the fakeness of a reality show, and for you to just, she said that she was waiting for somebody to expose it on the show. Okay. She waited all this season 7, for somebody to expose it on the show. And then when Karen does expose it, and I think maybe I owe Karen an apology, because I was just like, Karen, come on now. Juan not that stupid. Okay, Juan probably is that stupid now. If that is even indeed the same girl, because now I'm hearing stories that that girl that he supposedly was holding hands in Georgetown with the blonde hair and looked like Karen is not the same girl that came out in the story a couple of weeks ago, okay? But, we can only handle one thing at a time. But what I'm saying is, when Karen did finally expose it, you went on and denied it again. You didn't even come clean. Now, you say in your podcast that you were waiting for somebody to expose it, like, okay, here we go. You even called Juan. And Juan was so pissed. I don't care about this. You know where I am. Okay, now we know why he's so mad. Okay, because the hit dog hollers, right? And now we understand why maybe he was frustrated with the fact that they had already dealt with it, and now Robyn is bringing it up. What did she think that Juan was going to see? And that's my other thing, is like, what was the plan? Because you called Juan, and was Juan supposed to say on the phone, yeah, that's some shit I shouldn't have did. I mean, it was clear he was going to turn it down. He was going to deny it. And then it's funny, you guys, because even when I think about that scene now, I feel like when Ashley was telling Robyn what Karen had said, that Robyn kind of had that look on her face already, not like shocked, not upset. It was like she knew it was coming. In retrospect, now we see that. But I think when it was going, I didn't realize that. But even when I was watching that scene originally, I was looking like Robyn just kind of has the smirk on her face, And I don't know. I mean, maybe she hadn't had the conversation with Juan, but when Karen finally does expose it, you still denied it. So it wasn't like you were still going to give you weren't giving us your reality, because then it seems like you would have said, yeah, I was embarrassed. I didn't want to say, but that is what happened. Like, that was still your out to give, to say, like, I didn't want to say it before, but yes, Juan did that. To me, she should have been the one to say all of this ahead of time instead of letting Karen come out, say it. You know, when we watch Scandal, what did Olivia Pope teach us? You have to control your narrative. You have to get out in front of these stories before it comes out. Okay, how you get behind your own story? You know, you behind and it's your own shit. But you needed to get out in front of the story and tell it and maybe give your viewers of the show a way to maybe connect with you a little differently. I think that she knows that even though she's part of the Green-Eyed Bandits or the Green-Eyed Monsters, like I call them, you know, she knows that people still her and Giselle are very polarizing. So you either really like them or you really don't. Okay. And so I think that she didn't want to deal with the negative that comes with it, but that's a part of being on a reality show. You know, your reality. And if she would have came out with the story first, I felt like she could have controlled it a little bit better. And we may have even come out being more on Robyn's side. We've been trying, child. We've been trying. These last couple of seasons, we have kind of slowly seen her trying to come out from underneath Giselle's shadow. But she just, this was an opportunity to me for her to endear herself to more people. And I think she didn't trust that because she knows that some people don't like her, but that's just a part of being on a reality show, you know? So I just was listening to her conversation and then just appalled that she told everybody to go to Patreon. I was just like, oh, so should Bravo still continue to be paying you? When you get money for the real over on Patreon, what the hell you doing with Bravo and stuff? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't have a for real conversation with the executives of the Real Housewives of Potomac show, Bravo, and all of that, because that shit is foul. And then, you know, she turned around, she married Juan. Again, I don't care. Maybe they did deal with it. Maybe Juan, you know, maybe they did whatever they needed to do and she feels that she can trust him now and that, you know. But I just was like, girl, this is a mess. Now I want to see the picture of the girl. That's what I put on my Instagram today. I want to see a picture of the girl because maybe she do look like Karen. Maybe we need to readdress this whole conversation that was had about the threesome. Okay, because now I'm just wondering what exactly it is that Juan do like. Child, a fucking hot ass mess. Okay, and to me, just kind of, I understand why Chris and Candace are pissed because Robyn it's just wrong. It's just wrong, and you guys have rode. Well, Robyn kept on saying that she didn't think that Chris did it. But, you know, Giselle to ride him the way that he has, and just this whole season, you guys, of them exposing each other. Your man did this and your man did that, and you a lesbian and you licking this and you looking at each other's vagina and you doing, it's just sort of like, what is we watching? What are we watching? It's a show of them just talking about everybody's relationship. It's nothing. It's just been difficult. I mean, I have had my moments where I've laughed at things and all, but I feel a little offended about this story. Like, I just feel like, why are you on a reality show and you're not showing your reality? This is the things that confirms when naysayers say, oh, reality shows are all fake. This is when I always tell you guys that I feel like Love and Marriage Huntsville is a show that does a good job of still giving us what's really kind of happening. Yes, again, I know that there are things that happen in reality shows where things are kind of put on or exaggerated for entertainment purposes. But, you know, either we're going to be on a reality show or we're going to be acting. Like, I don't watch Love and Hip Hop anymore because now I feel like that's all acting. I don't feel like any of that shit is really true. Okay. And now you got Robyn out here. Child, it's a mess. It is just really a mess. And I want to see how they are going to recover this season. It's funny that all this would come out after the reunion, because it seems like Robyn waited until after they filmed the reunion so she wouldn't have to deal with this at the reunion. And conveniently so, because I know she would. First of all, Karen would have gave her the fucking blues, okay? And then of course Candace would have had a lot to say about Giselle and what Giselle said. Now, do I think that Giselle would blast her friend? No, I don't think that Giselle would blast her friend, but they should have just said, okay, we'll talk about it, but we're gonna control this, and we're gonna make sure that Robyn comes out looking more like the victim and try to play on the sympathy of the viewers and get people to kind of be over on her side and everything. Instead, you going around with this shit talking about Chris made you feel uncomfortable. Then it turned into Chris touching on somebody's ass and all of this. And did she say also that Ashley knew too? And Ashley swears she's trying to be friends with Candace. That's why I was just like, I don't understand why Candace is still trying to be friends with Ashley all this time when Ashley has stabbed her in the back over and over and over and over again. Okay? Ashley go and bring old homegirl with the bushy eyebrows to the story. I'm sorry, you guys, my phone got to ringing, so I got distracted. But what I'm saying is, so they had the girl with the bushy eyebrows come on the show to lie, to just further distract us. And I guess Karen probably got to the point where she was like, I'm about to just put the damn story out there. Okay? And like I said, they still had a chance to try to just deal with it, and they chose not to. And yeah, it's just a shame. It's just sort of like Robyn, wow, and Giselle, wow, and Ashley, wow. Okay, yeah, y'all seen the tweets that Chris Bassett and Candace Dillard have been putting out since the story dropped. They have every right to be aggravated about this. And like I said, now they can't even deal with it properly. They have to wait till they get back to the point of recording the show. And what if they put Robyn off? I mean, they probably won't put Robyn off, but what if they did choose to put Robyn off? Okay. Then we're going to have Giselle out there philandering by herself. Then what would happen? Like, who would be Giselle's sidekick then? Because people kind of tolerate Giselle, even though we know Giselle is like, Miss Potomac, I should say. But something about if the dynamic of Giselle and Robyn aren't even there anymore, I wonder what it would do for Giselle's, the way people accept Giselle. Because Wendy don't really like Giselle. Candace ain't fucking with Giselle. Karen don't really like Giselle. Okay. It would just be Ashley and Mia. And that can kind of go either way too. So yeah, it's just really interesting. I really wonder what's going to happen with this franchise next season. And if if they're going to address any of this, I don't see how they can't if they keep Robyn on the show. I don't see how they can't address this some kind of way. But yeah, well played. Wait until after the fucking reunion. Okay, because she would have had a lot more people in her shit if she would have waited until then. I mean, if she would have did this before then. But yeah, you guys, I was floored by the whole thing. I was just like, wow, it's just amazing. It is amazing how people get on reality shows and then just be with the fakeness. I've been telling y'all all this season, this shit has been fake. I've just been trying to figure out I've been trying to, and it's so funny to me that now we see that really is the stories is not true. And then it's sort of like, why wouldn't Robyn use this story to kind of for her platform? Because it's like people keep on saying like, what is Robyn's reason to be there other than to be Giselle's sidekick, other to be Giselle's lapdog, other to be So it's just like you could have truly had a for real story. You could have had a real story. And instead, you decided to just Oh, child, it's a mess. It's a mess. But what y'all think about it? Does it make you guys laugh like it makes me laugh, or does it piss you off? I know there's people out there that's actually quite mad about it. I'm not mad about it because it was obvious that something was off this whole damn season. Just couldn't quite put my finger on it. But yeah, y'all, I just need you guys to let me know what you think. I was like, let me go on and do this last on the 31st. You know, Rocky got to get her. We got to get the monies. I was like, I'm going to throw up a top of the blogs extra real fast for y'all. Okay? Edit this up on my lunch break and, you know, do one of these and throw it at you. And you guys, let me know what you think about the bombshell that Miss Robyn Dixon dropped yesterday. All right, and I'm going to get off of here. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Until next time, Roxstars.